Hello and welcome to a special Operation Sindoor edition of Battle Cry. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Weapons of war used in active combat to send across a very clear message to a radical Islamist state sponsor of terror, Pakistan. Enough is enough. This is for the first time that such heavy costs have been imposed on the Pakistani armed forces. And over the course of the next half hour, we get you all details of the weapons, many made in India, some on our own, some in collaboration. Weapons used in combat, weapons used to degrade Pakistan's warfighting ability. From the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile to a Russia-India joint venture and now made in India, to the Sukhoi 30 MKI made in India by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and license. We'll also talk about the Akash surface-to-air missile defense system. The DRDO built some short-range, other medium-range surface-to-air missiles. We'll also talk about the Barak 8 missile defense system made jointly by India and by Israel. And over the course of the next half hour, we get you all details about how, through an integrated air defense system and a command and control center, and this is amazing, India was not just the best in offensive action, but also in defensive action. When Pakistani missiles and their swarm drone attacks, they could not penetrate through India's shield. Let's first talk about the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. 15 BrahMos missiles were fired at Pakistani air bases on the morning on the 10th of May. BrahMos, of course, has a land version, a sea version, and an air variant, each deadlier than the other. So the standard variant of the BrahMos, and I want you to look at these images of the BrahMos completely decimating multiple Pakistani air bases. And of course, there were other systems that were used to target the terror camps. But first, the Pakistan Air Force bases that were destroyed by the BrahMos. Now, BrahMos has a standard variant. Its range is between 290 or 300 kilometers and 450 kilometers. There is an extended range version that was used during Operation Sindoor. It has an advanced version. Apparently, and this is what sources are telling India today, it's been tested at amazing ranges, 600, by some accounts, even more than 600 kilometers. The warhead, conventional, high explosive warhead, the warhead itself, I mean, can you imagine 200 to 300 kilograms of explosives that go slam dunk into a runway or a hangar? It'll just destroy everything that's inside that hangar. It's ideal for precision strikes on hardened targets like bunkers, for example, runways and command and control centers. The Pakistanis know this. They know this firsthand. They know this. It's happened at Noor Khan. The accuracy, pinpoint precision, 1 meter by 1 meter. It's, of course, they say it's 3 meter by 3 meter, but those who fired the BrahMos tell us the precision is 1 meter by 1 meter. It can go into a window and take out vital assets and vital points. It has the inertial navigation, the GPS. It has an active homing, for terminal guidance. Don't take my word for it. The Pakistanis will vouch for it. They've suffered. They've seen it firsthand. They've suffered. They've been at the receiving end. Altitude. Now capable of cruising at altitudes of up to 15 kilometers and striking as low as 10 meters as the Pakistanis saw at their air bases. Low level and low altitude penetration is one of the capabilities of the BrahMos. Pakistani generals vouch for it. The launch platforms, it's also air-launched, and the Sukhoi 30 MKI, that's the second weapon platform that we're talking about on this broadcast. That's the gigantic Sukhoi 30 MKI. India bought it from Russia initially. Now it's made in India under license. Of course, the BrahMos also has a mobile launcher, and these are autonomous launchers, 4 to 6 per complex, each carrying about 3 missiles. It also has a ship variant, and that is what Pakistanis or any adversary would be very scared, because ships and submarines, they are out there. They could strike from anywhere. So this is actually Pakistan's future nightmare, any adversary's future nightmare is the BrahMos, whether fired from land that they've suffered, air that they've suffered, sea. If they continue terror, there are consequences. The air-launched BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, like I said, launched from a Sukhoi 30 MKI. In fact, the Sukhoi 30 MKI can carry 8 tons of weapons. With its mid-air refueling, it can stay up in the air depending on the endurance of the pilot. 11 hours is what they've done during exercises in India, and they've destroyed Pakistani air bases with pinpoint accuracy. I quickly want to bring in my colleague Sandeep Unnithan for more on this. Sandeep, tremendous capabilities of the BrahMos cruise missile. It's been used in contact. This is actually one of the battle-winning factors of Operation Sindoor.
Well, Gaurav, the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile is India's ace in the pack. It's operated by all 3 services. It has 4 variants. It has a surface-launched variant used by the Army, an air-launched variant used by the Air Force, and a sea-launched version used by the Navy. Of course, there's a 4th version, the submarine-launched version, which is yet to enter service. But in this operation, in Operation Sindoor, we use the air-launched and the ground-launched version of the BrahMos. And here is where Indian innovation has come to the fore. We've used the Sukhoi 30, we've integrated the BrahMos missile into the Sukhoi 30. One Sukhoi 30 carries one BrahMos missile. That missile has a range of over 500 kilometers. Like I mentioned, it flies at 3 times the speed of sound. It carries a 300 kilo warhead, a high explosive warhead, and the combination of a missile flying at Mach 3, 3 times the speed of sound, a warhead, it's a devastating impact. And of course, the fact that it has what is called a CEP, or a circular error probable, of less than 5 meters. You can literally shoot a BrahMos missile at a range of over 500 kilometers between 2 football goalposts. That is how effective this weapon is, and combined with the advantages of a Sukhoi 30 MKI, the range and the effectiveness, the radius of operations, it is one of India's most devastating conventional weapons.
Oh, absolutely, because the adversary, Sandeep, has nothing. And I don't just mean Pakistan right now, but any adversary, whether to the north or the west, does it have anything that can stop a missile that's flying 3,000, 3 times the speed of sound, 3,500 or 700 kilometers plus per hour?
Well, the BrahMos flies at 3 times the speed of sound. It is supersonic cruise missile, and it is practically impossible to intercept except by the most sophisticated air defense missiles in the world. Very few countries have the capability currently to intercept a supersonic cruise missile, and the BrahMos capitalizes on the fact, and that is the reason that it could penetrate Pakistan's air defense networks, primarily the Chinese radars and missiles, the HQ-9s and the HQ-16s. The BrahMos penetrated it with such ease on the 10th of May.
I now want to talk about the other system that India is using, and that is the MR-SAM, or the Medium Range Surface to Air Missile. India has not only excelled in offensive capabilities like the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, but was generations ahead of Pakistan or any adversary for the moment in India's defensive capabilities. The Pakistanis, for example, on the 8th of May and the 9th of May, remember, 7th of May was when India hit Pakistan, but those were 9 terror bases, including the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba in Muridke, and one of the most important aspects was targeting one of the centers of Jaish-e-Mohammed at Bahawalpur. But then on the 8th of May and the 9th of May, and India advised Pakistan, stand down, we are not escalating, we've targeted terror, do not target military installations. But Pakistan tried to do that. All the way from Leh in Ladakh down to Sir Creek in Gujarat, across Jammu Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat, it sent in swarm drones, both on the 8th and on the 9th. Multiple swarm drone attacks. It also fired its Fateh 2 guided rocket system towards a strategic target inside India. Now, that was intercepted by India's missile defense shield, and now Sandeep and I will tell you more about the missile defense system and shield. So let's begin by talking about the Barak 8 system. This is an Indian-Israeli joint venture. As you can see, it's a medium-range surface-to-air missile, or MR-SAM as they say, the Barak 8 MR-SAM. Now, this was developed as a collaboration by India's Defense Research and Development Organization and Israel Aerospace Industries, the IAI. There were contributions from other Indian companies also and Israeli companies also. And look at this system. It's an amazing piece. Those who use it tell us. Let me get you some of the technical aspects and specifications of the Barak 8 system. Designed to neutralize a wide range of incoming aerial threats. It could be a fighter plane, it could be a helicopter, it could be an unmanned combat aerial vehicle, it could be a UAV that you want to take down, it could be a cruise missile that you want to take down, or a ballistic missile that's coming in fast to target a VA or a VP or a vital asset or a vital point. The range, like I said, is medium range, between 70 and 80 kilometers. But then there is an extended range variant that's under development, and that can take down a target 100 to 150 kilometers away. And that's the main aim. It is a tiered, graded missile defense system that India is working on. Speed is very important if you want to take down a ballistic missile, because a cruise missile, like the name suggests, will not come as rapidly, as fast as a ballistic missile would. It's supersonic. The Barak 8 system is supersonic. It has high response, quick reaction capabilities, and that is what makes this MR-SAM truly, truly a jewel in India's arsenal, the missile defense arsenal. It has a dual command and active radar seeker. The warhead, very important, the fragmentation warhead it has a proximity fuse. It can be launched from land and from sea. And like I said, it can take down your UAVs, aircraft, cruise missiles, even PGM or precision guided munition. And that's why, Sandeep, the MR-SAM Barak 8 is extremely, extremely good. Many argue this too was a part of the game-changer missile defense shield that we have.
Well, the medium-range SAM, the MR-SAM, it's also called the Barak 8, was developed by India in collaboration with the IAI of Israel. Now, it's a very potent medium-range surface-to-air missile. It has a range of over 70 kilometers. And it can shoot down targets at an altitude of 30 kilometers. It has a number of very advanced capabilities. It can handle a lot of cruise missile threats, ballistic missiles, even tactical ballistic missiles, and primarily aircraft threats. So the MR-SAM is something that the Indian Air Force has acquired in great numbers in the last couple of years, and it is primarily used to protect a lot of the Indian Air Force's vital areas and vital positions.
Ladies and gentlemen, with great pride, I want to talk about another made in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense. It's a battle-winning factor. You can't fight and win wars with foreign-made equipment, and especially the kind of wars that the world is fighting. And we've seen this in the war that's being fought between Russia and Ukraine. Russia makes its own weapons and systems. It's been able to sustain it. Ukraine was dependent on systems that were coming in from NATO countries, whether sometimes it'll come from Germany, sometimes Europe, from United Kingdom, sometimes from United States. Its soldiers would be ready to go into action, and the weapons hadn't come. The ammunition hadn't come. And unfortunately, a lot of their soldiers were killed waiting for weapons. And that is why the Atmanirbhar Bharat and defense goal is truly, truly creditable. And I want to talk about the Akash surface-to-air missile defense shield, part of the original integrated missile development program of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. It was initially, so Agni, Prithvi, Akash, Nag, Trishul. That's how it started in the mid-80s. And Akash went through its own series of teething troubles. At times it was almost abandoned. But then the government said, we will put our faith. Prime Minister Narendra Modi insisted that we will go ahead. The armed forces backed that to the hilt. the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Improvements were made and continuously they were made. Akash, the missile defense system, the surface-to-air missile, it proved its mettle in combat during Operation Sindoor. Our scientists, our air warriors, they would be so proud today. The Akash missile system is an indigenously built medium-range surface-to-air missile developed by India's Defence Research and Development Organization. The aim to strengthen our air defence capabilities. The Akash system is designed to neutralize any incoming aerial threat. Again, like the Barak 8, any incoming fighter jet, a drone, a cruise missile, another missile that's coming in. Key components, it is a key part of the layered air defense architecture. So how does it work? The radar spots a missile or an aircraft coming in to your ADIZ or your air defense identification zone. The moment you've identified a threat, you have a layered system. You have missiles that can take it out at more than 200 kilometers, at 300 or 400, like the S-400, or you have systems that can take it out closer. The Barak 8, the Akash, it just keeps coming closer and closer and closer. And then I'll talk to you about Army's point defense, because that's also had a very key role, like the Zu-30 guns or the L-70 guns. It's the Army that's done a creditable job in protecting our assets from Pakistani swarm drone attacks. And I'll do a separate story on the Army's point air defense system. But for the moment, let's talk about the Akash system. Along with the Barak 8, the MRSAM, and the Russian S-400, the long-range surface-to-air missile, this medium-range, mobile, multi-directional surface-to-air missile system was a boon in Operation Sindoor. So Akash comes with Mark 1, Mark 1A, that's the short-range, that's the SR-SAM or short-range surface-to-air missile, 25 to 30 kilometers. Then Akash NG or new generation, up between 45 and 60 kilometers. Some say the work is on for 80 kilometers. Akash Prime, that has enhanced ranges, performance tested. It can engage targets at altitudes from as low as 30 meters to 18 kilometers. Some argue maybe even 20 kilometers. Supersonic, up to 2.5 times the speed of sound. And that's creditable. The warhead, 55 to 60 kg, high explosive, again pre-fragmented warhead with proximity fuse. And I once again want to bring in Sandeep Unithan on the Akash system. Sandeep, Akash, and when you and I were reporting about this, the development of Akash system, mid-1990s, late 1990s, it was like iffy yes, iffy no, but wow, 2025, the forces swear by it.
Well, the Akash is, again, it's one of the most critical Indian defense platforms developed. It was part of the IGMDP missile program that started in 1983, and it has now begun to be inducted by the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. The missile has a range of over 40 kilometers. It has a proximity fuse, which means that it can detonate near the target, destroy targets, primarily aircraft and even maneuvering cruise missiles. Now, the Akash is literally the bedrock of a new type of indigenous surface-to-air missiles. It's got different variants. It's got the Akash next generation, the Akash NG, and it will form a new family of wholly indigenous surface-to-air missiles and surface-to-air missile systems. It's one of the few weapon platforms that are completely indigenous. Everything about the Akash, from its missile launcher to the missiles, and of course the radars, are indigenous and therefore can be exported to friendly countries.
There's an old saying in the armed forces, the gun is important, but the man behind the gun or the woman behind the gun is even more important. And now I want you to take a look at a picture of the men and women behind the air defense system. They've done us so proud, so proud. Ladies and gentlemen, and I want to play this out full frame for a moment, we owe our lives and a debt of gratitude to these brave men and women of the Indian Armed Forces. Watch them. They scanned our skies 24/7, 365 days a year, and they ensured the Pakistani missiles could not come into our country. Their rockets, their drones, their fighter jets, they could not come in because they are the real heroes of this battle, if I may. Their faces, they're hiding their faces because they don't want the adversary to identify them in some instances. But let me now come to you about this integrated. And you must know about these huge screens across the Integrated Air Command and Control System, or the IACCS. It's an automated command and control system. It's been developed by the Indian Air Force to enhance air defense capabilities and operations. The reason why Pakistan's offensive failed, the IACCS, it integrates data that's coming in from various ground-based radars, airborne radars, sensors, air defense weapon systems, command and control nodes to create one real-time, and hear this word, it's a very interesting, it's called RASP, Recognized Air Situation Picture. They are the ones who form that big picture, and this enables commanders to monitor the airspace. They detect a threat, then they coordinate a response very effectively across the Army, Navy, Air Force, civilian agencies. They're coordinating with everyone real time. They're scanning our skies deep inside enemy territory. The system operates on the AFNet, or the Air Force network. It's a secure digital information and supports network-centric warfare, reduces sensor-to-shooter loop. That's sensor to shooter loop is very important. You've sensed the adversary coming in. Their swarm drones are coming in. What system should take it out? Where should it be taken out? What's the level of threat? Tadak, destroy it. It's amazing how it works, Sandeep. The IACCS, it integrates information that's coming in from your AWACS, from your drones, from your fighter jets, your civilian air traffic controller, and gives that comprehensive airspace picture. Sandeep.
Well, the IACCS is one of India's best kept military secrets. It was developed almost entirely indigenously by Bharat Electronics Limited. It operates out of a secure and a secret location in India. It's buried underground, and what it does is basically it fuses all of the inputs from all of the civil, commercial, military radars from all the services, and it forms what is called a Recognized Air Situation Picture, or RASP. Now this gives you a constant picture of whatever is happening across Indian airspace 24/7. The Indian Air Force is responsible for the defense of the skies, and by looking at that picture, it is able to identify all aircrafts, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, all of the threats to Indian airspace, and allocate all the resources available to it, the shooting assets, like the missiles. And the missiles are arranged in various tiers, from your shoulder-fired missiles all the way up to the S-400 long-range air defense vector. So this is what the IACCS does. It's basically the eyes, the ears, and the brains of India's air defense network.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is how India was safe and Pakistan was completely degraded. Its warfighting capabilities were degraded in Operation Sindoor. And as the defense minister said, ये तो अभी trailer है, picture अभी बाकी है. Lots more on Battle Cry in the weeks ahead. That is all I have for you on this special edition. Many thanks for watching. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.